jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. Jet, we Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry for spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness is really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairing on it, flaring on it.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Face. Yeah. Bubba C. Yeah. Ric Flairing on him. Ric Flairing on him. Ric Flairing on him. Ric Flairing, son up, baby.
Hey, Roundtable Season 2. Scotty and Blue. Backpack coming through. Let's square it away, ain't nothing like the round table. I pay you if able to find better on cable. They made you appreciate Scotty and Blue. Football media, walking encyclopedia. Scott understand the Blue got the stats handy. Football, the topic around it, they ain't dancing. Stat sheet longer than Clifford Harris's rap sheet. He run a phone, see why you playing them that deep. Awkward silence, no need to be quiet. You know you saw the game, we might as well talk about it. Somebody caught a body in front of everybody. Pick six, cornerback out here committing robberies. How much you wanna bet we could cover the spread? 50 yards in the game, 100 after the catch. Throw it up if you want, I'ma grab it and flex. Season 2, Captain Pettier, still with the mess. You can move how you want, but we gon' move too. Round table with your boys, yeah, Scotty and Blue. Backpack. Poet.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday of your week. You already know what it is. It's the Roundtable, your boy Scotty with my boy Blue.
What's good, man? What's good? Can we officially call this season 3 now?
After signing day.
After signing day? Okay. Season 3 after signing day?
Season 3 after signing day. We in there. Season 3, baby. come on, man. Season 3. We drop and we just getting better with like fine wine, man. We just get better with time, baby. Just get better with time. That's what it is.
I love it, man. I love it. The off season's fun though, man. As much as I hate that there's no football, I'm all for recruiting, man. I live for that.
Oh man, listen, don't all the programs do. Listen, I don't have the big brain on Brad like my boy Blue, but I stay in the know a little bit every now and again. I get a little info, what I'm saying? I just get a little info every now and then. But guys, make sure you go ahead and like on both streams. We are simulcasting on both streams. Me, my channel as well as Blues. Make sure you go on both streams and like it. It's not that hard. Click here, click there. You won't miss nothing. All right. Make sure you join both of our membership groups. And that access as well. I have just started a Discord. So if you like to join my Discord, we doing 24. I'm trying to get 24/7 trash talking all day. All right. It's going to be a lot of stuff. I am no longer taking bets on my platform. I am taking bets in my Discord. Okay. So if you got any bets or you want to bet somebody, we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe for all scripts. I'm trying to expand this thing little by little, and also my consultation stuff has come up as well. So if you want a consultation with me, one-on-one call, we can make that happen. It's in my link below as well. All right, let's get into today's show, Blue. Got to start with the breaking news. As they said, Deion done did it again. Deion done did it again. Cormani McClain, 5-star athlete out of the Miami area who had been committed to Miami for God knows how long, just like his partner in crime, Travis Hunter, was committed to Florida State for God knows how long, has officially flipped and committed to Colorado. Deion done did it again, Blue. He done did it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who follows recruiting, daily, this isn't a surprise. As soon as he visited, it was a wrap. I mean, at the end of the day, let's just be honest, especially because now he can sell the fact that you can play next to Travis Hunter and they got Cam at safety. I mean, there's a lot to sell them on. And on top of that, it doesn't surprise me at all, man. Cormani McClain wanted to go play for Deion, man. He's at Colorado now. He's coming, like he says, he's coming. But I will say, this kid's a true 5-star. I don't care what anyone says. I know On 3, dropped him, which is just criminal. But this kid, in my opinion, I really do. I've really thought he was going to be a consensus 5-star, if not potentially the #1 recruit in the country as things got re-ranked throughout the season.
Yeah.
But listen, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It don't matter if they put him as a 2, 3, 4, 5-star. The kid can ball. I think he's going to bring a lot of range. And I do think as a true freshman, man, he is a true cornerback. And I think his
absolutely.
Yeah, his potential's through the roof.
Yeah, I want to make it very clear. I know I saw a graphic before that if Deion would have got Cormani, this would be the first team in college football history that's had the highest graded players on the same team. Because I think Travis was ranked like a 99, 999, something like that. And I think Cormani by 247 is like a 99985 or 99, some crazy decimal number, but it'll be the highest rated class in the same category, like cornerbacks or athletes or whatever you want to call them, wide receivers or whatever. Cormani is a true DB. He is not a wide receiver playing a DB. He is not an athlete playing D. He is a DB. That's what he does. That's who he is. I think I don't think you're going to see Travis play a lot of DB in Colorado. I really don't think you're going to see that. Now, I would like to, just because to say Cormani and Travis I would just love that dynamic of having those two guys at the position. But I do think that you're going to have Travis go to wide receiver. Cormani is going to stay at DB. And I think you're probably going to use Travis in situational plays at DB. Like if you need a big stop, big time receiver, and he's dogging you like a Marvin Harrison Jr., you know what I'm saying? You're just like, hey, man, just do your best. I think that's what you do for that. But, man, Deion done did it again, man. It's just that simple. Where, Blue, do you know where his class is ranked at? I heard he's like in the 20s or 24.
Yeah, 20? I think he's somewhere in the 20s, and I think they got a top 5 transfer class.
Listen, the schedule is still crazy. I just want to be very clear about that.
Oh, they're definitely, if I had to put money on it, it's 4-8.
Woo! Let me ask you this, and we'll get off the Colorado thing, but I do want to ask you this. USC, Colorado, Caleb versus Shador. USC has the defensive issues. They're probably going to address most of that in the transfer portal. Where do you see that game looking like? I mean,
A blowout. It's going to be a massacre. Bro, like, you listen, bro, I'm sorry. I don't care who we brought in, the Louis luggage. Bro, Colorado is not even on the level of Utah right now. They're not beating USC. On the road, too, if I'm not mistaken, too. They're not going to LA and beating USC. This is not going to happen.
Louis luggage and all. Louis luggage and all.
I mean, USC is going to score as many points as they want on them.
Wow. Oh man, listen. You know me, I'm not much of a Power 5 guy, but I'm definitely gonna watch. Just it should be entertaining at least. It should be entertaining.
It's the same thing you faced when he was in Jackson. Everyone thinks he's gonna come in and win national titles. Like, bro, this is not just a flip of a. I mean, this team was one of the bottom 5 teams in FBS last year.
It's just I always love when you're so definitive because you're usually the guy that's like, well, maybe, if things go right. You was just like, no.
Sean, that's not true. I picked Tulane to beat USC. Check the tapes. I went on Kobe's show and said Tulane was going to beat USC. That wasn't an upset. Tulane also beat the Big 12 champs in K-State. Tulane would also beat Colorado if they face this year.
Oh man, I don't know how you keep track of all this stuff, man. It amazes me to know how you keep track of all this stuff with all this stuff going around and moving and shaking. But hey, it is what it is. But shout out to Dion for getting another one. That's what he does. He get 5 stars, man. What Cornell tell him? Get more 5 stars. He's still getting them. He's still getting them. All right, let's move on. I know this is a topic near and dear to your heart. North Dakota State, all right, Tennessee State, 2024-2025, home and home. I hope that's right. I hope it's right.
No, it is. I was just laughing, bro. Where in the hell did you find that North Dakota State logo? That thing is from when they were NAIA.
Love it. I love the colors. I was like, ooh, I like those colors. I didn't like the new, because I got the new Buffalo. I didn't really like it. I like that Buffalo. I thought it looked pretty cool. So, hey, my man Kaz, don't come for me, man. Don't come, because he's like, that ain't us. Like, bro, it's y'all, okay? It's y'all. We doing throwback. We doing throwback Thursday. All right, throwback Thursday. Tennessee State, that's a throwback too. So we just doing throwback Thursdays. But 2024, 2025, home and home. I know you talk to the AD. They're constantly looking for competition. Does Tennessee State realistically, Blue, do they have a chance in the 2024, 2025 season?
I'm never going to say no because, you never know what. Listen, we have seen the ebbs and flows of college football happen before. You never know what's going to happen. 2025, who knows is going to be there. North Dakota State, I tweeted out a graphic. Next year, they're going to have to replace 8 starters and their defensive coordinator who just took the Northwestern job. They are going to have to replace a lot. There's a lot of change happening at North Dakota State behind the scenes in terms of roster. Right now, I don't think there's any question North Dakota State is a much better program right now than Tennessee State, and it's probably going to be a bloodbath if it had to pick it today. But, man, you never know what could happen in terms of recruiting. I just think it's going to be a great chance for here's the thing. There's a direct flight from Nashville to Fargo. That's a big reason why they picked Tennessee State. That's what the AD said. He wanted a destination game that's easy for his fans to get to. Direct flight from Nashville to Fargo. It's in the NFL stadium, another big selling point for North Dakota State. And on top of that, too, at the end of the day, all the haters that say they never win below the Mason-Dixon line, well, they're coming now.
Everybody coming.
Everybody's coming.
Everybody.
So listen, this will be a good chance for Tennessee State and Eddie George if he's the head coach there to figure out where their program is. You can't say you're the best in the country without playing them.
You can't.
Here we go.
This is my thing. North Dakota State is known for their running attack, but they've always had a competent quarterback in the past few years to make, if you do decide to stop their running attack and you commit to it, that they have a playmaker at the quarterback position to take it over the top, couple throws, big time throws, couple big plays. to me, if any team was going to get them, it's this run with Cam Miller. I'm not seeing it to where he is a difference maker at the quarterback position. And I'll say this, even with a great amount of talent surrounding him, running back wise, and maybe, they're going to get some skill guys, white, black, don't matter, that can run that thing out for the wide receiver position. But Cam Miller, I'm just not sold on him being the guy going forward. I think if there was any time for you to get North Dakota State is while Cam Miller is at the play caller position. How do you see that going forward, Blue?
I don't think he's a starter next year.
Wow.
I think, listen, Matt Entz has never been afraid. They have a redshirt freshman, Cole Payton, 6'3", 230 out of Omaha, Nebraska, was a 3-year starter in high school, was a 31, had a 31-5 record over 3 seasons, won a state championship in 2020, was the Nebraska Gatorade State Player of the Year, 2-time first team All-State, has a school record in completions, yards, touchdowns, threw for 5,300 yards, 65 touchdowns, rushed for 2,100, and another 37 touchdowns in high school. I think he's the guy that's been kind of waiting his turn. Ooh. Cam Miller's kind of been dragging his feet. I would imagine that Cole Payton's the future of North Dakota State football at the quarterback spot.
Man, I don't even think you could keep a kid like that just sitting on the bench. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, the stats.
It's hard to bench a kid who won the national championship, though, last year. That was the predicament they got in.
Makes sense. I mean, when you're there every other year, it gotta make sense. Whoever gets there gets there. And listen, at the end of the day, let me see. Junior Cole Payton spurned offers from Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin to come to out of Omaha. He is no joke. Appreciate that cause as always. Listen, they need it. They need it. And once again, I'm not saying that what they do and how they do it isn't successful, because they do it at a level that nobody can really mess with other than the South Dakota State boys. Because when you're in somebody's backyard, you pretty much build your team to beat your rivals, who, if I can beat my rivals, I can damn near beat everybody else. But just this year, you saw what Gronkowski was for South Dakota and what Cam Miller was not. And you saw the difference. Even if both of their running games were getting stopped, if they were, Mark was just a difference maker in the passing game. And the Yankee twins, they help as well. But, it's going to – I want to see what North Dakota State looks like going forward. And let me ask you this. The Tennessee State, are they going to keep riding your quarterback, your boy that you like, the one that came from Austin Peay? Are they going to ride him on the way out, or are they going to try to get somebody else in there?
They went out and got the kid from Youngstown this year. So I think it'll be a little bit of a quarterback competition. Then we'll see what they do moving forward. They'll probably need a guy who's a freshman, potentially a transfer who has like 3-4 years of eligibility that needs some development. You probably want to have 3 guys in that room. Just especially with Draylon battling injury issues too. Like, you have to have some depth in there just in case, because he runs a lot and he's a smaller guy. If he gets banged up, you want to have some depth behind him. Mm-hmm. I think they ride him this year. The kid from Youngstown, some depth, and they got a young guy who's probably going to be the future. I don't know if Draylon will be the quarterback when they had this matchup, but as long as Eddie George keeps recruiting and developing his program, man, I'm hoping they can at least keep it competitive. It would be really nice to see Tennessee State be able to at least compete in the game.
Absolutely. And listen, this matchup wouldn't mean much if, while the person that would not be named was at Jackson, and they were ducking this smoke. Now, listen, it looks real smart now. I'm not going to lie to you, because if you would have set this game up 3 months ago and the person that should now be named dips out and leaves you, listen, this is a death match. Okay, this is a celebrity death match if North Dakota State goes against Jackson and they're in I don't want to say a rebuilding, but a retooling. We'll just say retooling stage in their life, and they're not, and who's to say they'll get back to what they were. Now, this is the thing for me. You still gotta go schedule somebody. Like, I know we're talking about North Dakota State and Tennessee State, and Tennessee State, listen, is looking like the old school Grambling where they'll go play anybody anywhere. Notre Dame, North Dakota, it don't matter. We'll come see you. We'll go to Fargo. It don't matter. But are you looking for more of these matchups, Blue, from the SWAC in the Missouri Valley conference to happen at neutral sites, maybe some home and homes. Because if Tennessee State can get a home and home, there's no reason why a Southern couldn't get a home and home with a South Dakota State. There's no reason where a Grambling couldn't get a home and home with the Missouri Valley Conference. So are you looking for more of these matchups to come down the pipeline?
No. Okay, so let me explain. Okay, I don't think it's going to come down the pipeline. Like that, because I get it to a point. Like FCS programs, and this includes North Dakota, South Dakota State, they can't afford, like, traveling that distance does take money. And like FCS programs are always toting the line of like trying to consistently make money. So I get why Eastern Washington isn't playing Gardner Webb. Like, we could even take it out of the SWAC. Like, I get it. It's a lot of money to go from Washington to damn North South Carolina. But there's no excuse for more home and homes not to be scheduled between Southern and Incarnate Word, Grambling and UT Martin, Jackson and Sanford, FAMU and Mercer, Chattanooga and Alabama State, Alabama A&M and Eastern Kentucky, Missouri State's right there, Central Arkansas is right there. Abilene Christian's right there. Who else? We got? Northwestern State has played some SWAC teams. McNeese and Northwestern State are the teams that like the SWAC always picks on. Yeah. But man, there's too many other good teams in the area. Like, there's no excuse not to have home and homes with Southland, ASUN, SoCon, and even some OVC teams. Like even some WAC teams. Like, no one's saying go and lose all this money and travel to Eastern Washington. That's not smart financially. I get that, but go play Mercer in Atlanta and Macon and get a home and home. If Stephen F. Austin is willing to travel to Lorman for a home and home,
anybody,
bro, anybody can get it.
Anybody can get it. Anybody can get a home and home. Anybody can get a home.
So, like, you can't convince me that no one is interested. But, bro, the fact that FAMU last year didn't have a single FCS opponent is ridiculous. And on top of that, too, like, this came from a player, like, I've heard this from like 3 different sources inside Jackson. The fact that Dion was there for 3 years and didn't play a single ranked team is crazy. And so there's too many teams in the South. Like, I feel bad for the Big Sky teams that have to schedule out of conference. Who do you schedule? Everyone out west is in your conference, and then your closest opponents are the giants of college football and MVFC. Yeah. Man, there's way too many teams in the South for all these conferences not to have home and homes. And even I have been the biggest like proponent of, why is it North Carolina A&T playing FAMU? Man, or even a rematch. North Carolina A&T plays Alcorn a home and home. Do you know how crazy that would be?
Yeah.
That would be so exciting. Or even a Grambling NCCU rematch.
Yeah.
I would love to see even some matchups like that, man. So I don't think you'll see many MVFC SWAC matchups, but I do hope to see more Southland, ASUN, OVC matchups, SoCon. Yeah.
The matchup that I've been preaching and banging down the door is Southeast Louisiana rematch. I think that what I know now, Southeast Louisiana this year probably would have been a great game. It would have been a good game. I think they would have given them the business though, because FAMU was pretty one-dimensional in my book. But I still wanted to see the rematch. I just think that's something. Listen, man, it kind of reminds me of like Kevin Durant leaving OKC. It's like, bro, just run it back. Like, you was this close. And I'm not saying they was that close in the game. It's just that you just like, hey, like, let's do it again. I'm going to be ready for you this time, and let's get it going. You know what I'm saying? I really would like to see that. I would really like to see that rematch. I really would. Just to see where FAMU stands and things like that. But I did watch a video earlier today with the AD, and she's a big component of scheduling FCS opponents to help their playoff bid. She said she doesn't want to see them go 9-2 again and not have a legit reason why they can't get into the playoffs based off their schedule. So she's actually a big component of that. She said she's been reaching out to some quality FCS teams to see if they can get on the schedule. So shout out to Miss Sykes for that. All right. Let's get into some rankings. All right. got the SWAC head coach rankings. All right, for all the updated SWAC coaches. All right, these are the new coaches in the SWAC. I think I'm missing one. Am I missing one? I feel like I missed one.
No, I think it was just 4, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm good.
Because you're probably also thinking, like some of the we've talked a lot about some of like the coordinator hires and things like that, and also the MEAC coaches too have gotten.
Yeah, Vincent Brown. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But all right, for the SWAC ranking head coaches, Blue, you're the traditionalist. I want to break the bank. Who do you got, and how would you rank these?
So I guess I'll start at the bottom. 4 for me would. Oh, this is so tough because I'm because of how it started and the rebuild, bro. You might have to put Ed Reed at 4. I'm just gonna be completely honest, bro.
Wow.
I get it's a splash higher, but if you could have laid out a worse introduction to the SWAC, I don't think it could have got any worse than the Ed Reed right now. Because behind the scenes, here's what I'm concerned about is how many bridges did he burn behind the scenes that were willing to help that aren't willing to help now?
Nobody. No, okay. I'm gonna let you finish
because we both agree. Listen, wherever you have them ranked, we both agree the rebuild at Bethune-Cookman, nobody can do that, bro. Like that's not rebuilding Jackson with Dion. You are going to need somebody to help you. And man, he just, bro, like you got on the president. You got on a law. I mean, I really do think he just burned so many bridges right now that until he kind of steps up and has that first press conference and we kind of see where things stand behind the scenes, man, I am extremely concerned right now for the Ed Reed tenure at Bethune-Cookman.
Okay. All right. I don't believe he burned any bridges that needed to be built. Because to me, everything that you're trying to do, I don't believe the board of trustees I don't believe it's inside of Bethune. I think everything you're needing to do is outside of the faction of Bethune. Now, yes, maybe the board of trustees has a big part of how you move, but if I'm Ed Reed, nothing that I do that I want to do should come from Bethune. Nothing. Like I don't need, the only thing I need Bethune to say is yes. That's it. I don't need y'all to do nothing else. Just say yes and let me do what I do. So that's why I don't feel like it's that big a deal. But go ahead, you can finish your list. 3,
I got Wade with Valley. I think it's just gonna be so hard to succeed there, bro. I'm gonna be I don't see a path forward. Like, I mean, what can he do to build Valley into a contender realistically right now? It's just going to be brutal to start out and kind of, because especially with all the players they've lost to graduation that were stars, all the players they've lost in the portal now, and you're starting at ground zero. I do think the only reason I put him above Ed is that he understands what he's stepping into at Valley. He's an alum. He's been around the program. He knows what it takes to recruit on the JUCO circuit. So I do think he has some things working in his favor, but man, it just seems like he stepped into the worst situation this offseason. 2, I'm putting Hampton, man. I think he's going to have all the connections and the experience to potentially build UAPB into something. I don't know if they're going to win the SWAC or anything anytime soon, but I do think he can build him into being a contender. I love his approach. I don't know if you saw his opening press conference. I think he said all the right things. He won day 1. He did. He won day 1, and that's something that I think Ed Reed that has not done is win day 1. I think that's a big reason I would have Hampton over him anyway. But I do think he has the right vision for the program. And number 1, for the same type of reasons, TC Taylor, he's won over the fan base. He's a legend at the school. He also did a really, really great job right now of keeping the players that he needed to keep on the roster there outside of the obvious ones that were going to leave. He's been recruiting his ass off right now, man. Number 2 recruiting class in the FCS, number 1 in the SWAC. It's hard not to place him number 1 on the list of ranking head coaching hires. So TC Taylor 1, Hampton 2, Wade 3, Ed Reed 4 right now.
All right. So yeah, I didn't think our list was going to be that different, but it's really different. Number 4 is Wade. Is Valley. Like, bro, like it's Valley. Like, let's not even play this game. It's Valley. Like, you're not Dancy, right? And Dancy, I mean, Dancy going 5-6 was like, oh man, 4-7 was like, oh man, we got a coach, bro. Like, not like you're at Valley. Like, let's not even play this game. It's Valley. Like, you got to be last because it's Valley. So, Bethune at least has history of dominating. You don't even have that. Like, in the last 10 years, what have you really won? Okay, like Tyrese, what do you want from me? Like, it's Valley. Okay, let's not play this game. Number 3 is Hampton, right? Because UAPB to me, listen, I saw the press conference. I'm not. He sounds like the kid. He sounds like the kid, right? Like when you have a friend who your mom is like, I wish you would be like him, because he's like in front of your parents, he does everything right. Like he's real polite, he's grateful, you know, he washes the dishes, he asking your mom, can I take out the trash for you? He making you look real bad in front of your parents. But then you know what he really is behind closed doors. You like, bro, you don't do none of that stuff that you talking about at the house. So to me, that's what it came off. It came off to me like, yeah. This man said, I got a story that I love, right? Let me blow myself up because I need people to see this. This man said, I'm sorry. This man said, I got a story. And go back and watch the press conference. He's like, I got a story that I love. And he's reading off the paper the story and still gets it wrong. So, if it's a story that you love, that's like me messing up the Three Little Pigs. If I love the story, it's in me. I don't got to read off the paper if it's something that I go by or live by. That bothered me. I know I'm weird like that. Oh, Scotty always nitpicking. I'm just weird like that. So 3 is him. 3 is he. Okay. 3 is he. All right. 2 is Ed. And it has to be 2 for Ed because 1 is that nobody is bringing the resources that Ed has. Nobody. And they all need resources. Hampton needs resources. Valley needs resources. All them Bamas need resources. And Ed Reed's the only one with the pockets deep enough to actually bring them and the connections. So it's gotta be that. And let's be real. Out of the other 2 programs, Bethune is the only one in the last 5 years that has at least a winning record.
That's not true. UAPB was in the SWAC championship like 2 years ago.
2012?
No.
I'm not counting the spring. Ain't nobody counting the spring.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm not taking that. Over longevity of winning, Bethune has the more winning tradition.
I'm with you on that.
Okay,
but you said no one had a winning record. I was like, they were just in the SWAC championship.
They were just not forgotten. They were just forgotten about. Anyway, so 2 Ed Reed, all right, and then 1 TC Taylor. And listen, TC Taylor has I feel like TC Taylor is the brother that gets all the brothers' hand-me-downs, right? Like, you got all the fresh clothes because your brother was buying them, and now he done grown out of them, and he passing them down to you. That's what it feel like. So you really just taking your brother's swag, putting it on you, and now you out here trying to stunt like it's your swag when it really ain't your swag. You just stole it from your big brother. So that's how I look at it. But he got the most food in the cabinet, per se. You know what I'm saying? He has the most food in the cabinet and stuff like that. So for me, 1 TC, 2 Ed, 3 Hamp, 4 Wade. That's how I look at it. That's how I view it. That's just me. So
I don't know about you. I'm so ready for that opening press conference with Ed Reed. I can't wait. Bro, I'm gonna I need to reach out. And be there in person for that one.
Yeah, man, we might need to take a trip to Daytona, man, just to see what it looked like in person. Because I'm gonna ask him. I'm like, Mr. Reed, are these motherfuckers still bothering?
Bro, okay. Well, what's the odds? Like, I know DraftKings set some crazy odds. Like, they were setting them on like Kim K's next boyfriend and stuff. Like, what are the odds his opening press conferences on Instagram Live? Legendary.
Oh man. I'm not much of a gambler, so I wouldn't even know how to do odds. I don't even know how to do that type of stuff. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But listen, man, it's Bethune, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a Zoom meeting, like and everybody and they just send out Zoom links to everybody. No, I'm so serious though. Like you laughing, but I really believe they're gonna do like a Zoom meeting and everybody they send out the Zoom links to everybody in the media. And then if you see it, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And if it happens, and Blue gonna be just shaking his head, but I'm like, he was like, damn, Scotty was right. They did just send out a Zoom link. I'm like, it's Bethune. You know what I'm saying? It's Bethune. You can't like, don't get me wrong. UAPB's press conference was nice. Like it was broadcasted nice.
They did a good job.
It was a really nice job. The backdrop and everything. Bethune ain't doing that. But they gonna treat you just like a Zoom meeting. You can be like this. They gonna be just like this. Yeah, you know, it's your boy Ed. You know, I appreciate Bethune. You know, probably got the fuzzy background. You know, so you don't see what's going on. That's exactly what it's gonna look like. I'm just telling you. Y'all think when it happened, don't say I didn't warn y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't say I didn't warn you.
God, man.
If it happens, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get into some transfer portal. Porter report. All right. Jalen Bell, formerly of Mississippi Valley State, has now transferred to Tennessee State. Blue, I saw your tweet about this. You said it's a huge pickup for Tennessee State. Go in a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're losing what I think 3 starters along the defensive line. Tennessee State is, so they had to have someone in the middle. I think Teray Jones is on his way out. They're losing the edge rusher TD Patterson, if I'm not mistaken, too. So it's just someone who adds some much needed depth. And let's be honest, I mean, he was really good in Mississippi Valley State, all SWAC selection, and he's a bit undersized, but he's kind of like Ronnie Thomas, where they had a bunch of undersized defensive line, but they all play with that edge. And it gave him the leg up against a lot of offensive linemen. I will be interested to see, do they slot him outside? He played inside a lot of the time, and he's way too undersized for that. If they can turn him into more of like a 3-tech potentially edge rusher, man, his potential could be unlocked to the next level. So I'm really interested to see how he fits into the scheme. They have a lot of different needs, but I think this was a big pickup for Tennessee State and a solid move for Jalen Bell.
They got him at 6'1", 280 on the on his Mississippi Valley State profile. I don't know if you can move us. I mean, like, you know, 6'1" that's like James Houston's type height, and you don't got that type of speed or agility. I think your best bet, honestly, is to bulk him up and get him because this don't look like 280 to me, Blue. This look like about 250, 260.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I don't know where he's hiding the 280, but I don't see two. I mean, but his production's through the roof with that size too on the interior. I mean, what I'm looking right here, 113 total tackles, 26.5 for loss, 12 sacks.
Wow.
That's production from an interior defensive lineman.
That you can. And let's not act like they haven't played. They played Tarleton. You know, they played I think the year before they played what team was that?
They played Austin Peay this year too.
They played Austin Peay, but last year they played like their first game of the season was against like some state team. I can't remember, but they got blown out in the first half, but they played really well in the second half and they didn't score. So I mean, listen, I mean, you can bulk them up if you can get him. Because like I said, this don't look like 250, 260. So if you can get him to 6'1", 280 and he can keep his speed, I don't see anything wrong with him playing at a D tackle. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that, you know, that Warren Sapp slashing D tackle kind of, you know, but he has to be super productive, and then he has to be able to hold his ground in the run game. You know what I'm saying? He has to be able to hold his ground in the run game. But shout out to Jalen Bell, man, going to Tennessee State, doing big things. All right, next on the Porter report. Southern picks up a quarterback. I do not know how to pronounce this last name, so I'm not even going to try to. Dylan. I
believe it's Marotra. Yeah, that's something like that.
Like something off of X-Men, like, you know, like a Voltron or something like that, like Mahotra, like some like new Jesus. Oh man. But listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a fan of this kid. watching the tape, this might sound weird, but his arrogance exudes off of the tape. Like there's people that play the quarterback position and you say, oh, they're a quarterback. And then you see people like, nah, that dude's a quarterback. Like he reminds me, the swagger I feel when I see him on tape reminds me of Aaron Rodgers at Cal. When you just watch them play, you're just like, this dude knows he's a quarterback and he can throw it. I love this tape. I absolutely love this tape. I think Noah is going to have a problem with this kid because he just has so much confidence that he can play the position that I think he knows he can go anywhere and be productive. So I don't know why he left UAB. I don't know why, Trent, Mr. Quarterback, Trent Dilfer didn't want to keep him, but I loved his tape when I watched it. What you got, Blue?
I think he has potential. I'll say that. He's extremely unproven. Hasn't really seen much at the college level. And I do agree on his high school tape, he looks very confident. But man, with quarterback is one of those positions where, man, if you don't have college film, I need to see you, like you say, with the bullets flying at the collegiate level, because the speed of the game is a lot different. And that's the one concern I have. And for me, until I see him in the spring, I still will lean Noah over him at the quarterback battle, just because I've seen Noah in the line of action and he's played in the SWAC. But I do think he has the measurables. He has the confidence. I want to see him, though, in the spring practice and see how he looks compared to Noah in this offense. And then also the big question is, who's going to fit what Dooley wants to do at quarterback the most? That's a huge, huge question. And I want to see what his speed looks like against other people in college, because he looks like he has maybe a little bit, but I don't know what his high school competition was like.
Most of the stuff that I saw a little bit of his high school stuff, but I saw most of his practice footage during UAB. And I mean, he was making some throws, but like I said, it's like you said, it's practice. It's practice. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no real bullets flying in practice, and everybody looks good when they know they ain't about to get hit. So, you know what I'm saying? But I'll say this, and I know people are going to be like, he reminds me a lot of Quincy Casey. And I know that sounds bad, but what I mean by that is the arm talent is there. But once again, I can't, like Blue said, like once the bullets start flying, I don't know what you can be at that point. You know what I'm saying? Are you going to become that gamer or do you shrivel? I remember I was talking to Devontae Kincaid, and he said the only thing that separated him over I think Hickbottom was there when he was there. Yeah, Hickbottom was there when he was
the
there.
end, I believe.
Yeah. He said the only thing he told me, he said, Scotty, he said Hickbottom had the arm. He said in practice, because he just came off an injury. I think he like messed up his leg or something like that. So Hickbottom was getting all the reps. And he was like, man, Scotty, in the practice, I was so scared, because he said the dude could make all the throws. He could, he could do this, he could run, he could do this, he could do that. He said, but in the game, it would be too fast for him. And he couldn't process fast enough. And that's where Kincaid succeeded. You know what I'm saying? So he said that's where the difference was. He said, but in practice, you would think Hickbottom was like the best thing is sliced bread. But when that game come, it didn't process. So Dylan, and that's the same thing with like Quincy. I'm telling you, like watching Q practice and seeing the way the throws he can make, you're like, oh my God, like this kid's arm talent is crazy. But when bullets start flying and things happen, I need you to make those throws under pressure multiple times and when the game's on the line. So is that Dylan? You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen it. I've seen the talent. I see the arm talent. I see the confidence, but can he make it during the game when it really matters? And I agree with you. Noah's done it. Even as a freshman, he did it at a, as high level you can as a freshman, but we shall see. So, but I do like this kid. I think he definitely has a lot of potential. All right, next up, Mr. Love Triangle. Devon Sterling. All right. Now I don't know. I don't know if Tennessee State kind of moved him on along because of the love triangle, but he is at North Arizona University?
Yeah, Northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona University, the Lumberjacks. All right, Blue, I know this is your guy. How do you feel about him?
I think it was a perfect addition. Kevin Daniels transfers out, which was an all conference running back for NAU. I don't remember where he ended up, but he transfers out. They had a kind of a wide open spot at running back. They like to run the football. RJ Martinez transfers to Baylor. They bring in a quarterback, Daniel Britt from Montana, and they're loading up with guys that can do it. And I think Britt has a high potential at quarterback. They got a guy who's proven a multiple time all conference selection, had almost 2,000 yards rushing at Tennessee State. And let's keep it 100 here. His best game was against the Big Sky opponent in Eastern Washington, where he went for like 200 and a touchdown to open out this season and almost led Tennessee State to a huge upset. I think this was a great pickup. I think a change of scenery was needed. I think this kid's very, very talented, and it just seemed like he never could really catch his footing at Tennessee State. So I love it. They're going to use him. And also, I don't know if you've seen the NAU facilities. They're top notch at the FCS level. They are beautiful.
No, I have not seen them, but I like I said, I believe you. I believe you. All right, and last but not least, I totally forgot to add him into this mix of what I got, but I got two more people I gotta bring up. One more. All right, Brian Plummer, DMV. You're good with me. Went to Quince Orchard. One is very much a powerhouse in the Maryland area. Great program to come out of. Big kid, 6'5". I think he's about I think I said 215, 220, something like that. Big kid. Seeing him play, seeing his high school tape. I saw some Buffalo practice tape. I wasn't impressed. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't impressed. But his high school tape actually was like, it's not bad. Yeah. So I don't think it's bad. I think it's a great pickup. You need no, you need a quarterback. All right. Somebody in that room got to play quarterback. All right. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's a bad pickup. I'm actually, I listen, you can't teach height. All right. So if I can find a 6'4", 6'5" guy, and if I'm being honest, he kind of reminds me of Akil, like just out of like the body type, the way they move. You know what I'm saying? He kind of reminds me of Akil. I think he has a better arm than Akil, but he does kind of remind me of Akil. But what you got, Blue?
I'm kind of with you, man. Very, very unproven at the college level. I agree. His high school film looks like he could be something, but again, he hasn't proven anything at the collegiate level. And man, Alabama A&M, I think they need a guy who's proven. They got to have someone who comes in and just takes over the room. So
I like that.
I don't know if he's the solution. I would not be surprised if A&M brings in another quarterback after spring practice. I'll just say that. I won't be. I don't think they're done recruiting quarterbacks, even with this guy.
No, you can't be. You can't be. And I'm glad somebody brought up the kid from Benedict. I'm definitely about to bring him up as well. But let's go on to another person, and I apologize to the Jackson State fans. I totally forgot about this kid. But your boy from LSU, what is it? Philip Walker?
Philip Webb.
Philip Webb. LSU former 4-star.
Yeah, he was a 4-star.
Former 4-star DN linebacker, hybrid. Blue is super, super high on this guy. Talk to me.
Yeah, I see the potential written all over this guy. I talked to Brandon. I talked to my guy over at LSU. I'm still trying to get on some practice film, but man, they just said he had some injuries that kind of, you know how it is, man. You get hurt, and when you got 5 stars behind you, if they go out there and ball, your spot's gone.
Oh,
and they brought in. If you haven't paid attention, LSU might have one of the best edge rooms in the entire country, year in and year out. BJ Ojolari, Harold Perkins came in this year and was like a freshman of the year. The list goes on. And even at linebacker with Mike Jones coming in, the kid Cox from North Dakota State coming in, man, I'd see potential. I think he's going to fit exactly what Jackson needs at the edge rusher spot. They really do. They needed someone across from Niles. I'll say that. They had to have someone who can take some attention off of Niles, or they were just going to double Niles and chip him all day long.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to have anyone on the other side. I still don't think Doyle on the other side. I really don't think he's the answer.
He's done.
I didn't see it last year. And so I think this kid is a day one starter. I think he has a potential, Scotty, in my opinion. If everything lives up to what I think he can, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a run at 10 sacks this year.
You know what? Watching his high school tape, because couldn't really find his, any other practice tape, like you said. I think he could be a great blend of James with the height and the measurables, right?
Yep.
And the reason that James went the round he went was only because of his height, not because of his production, not because of his skill set. If Phillip can give you half of what James Houston was, half of half of what James Houston was still is 10 sacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's 10 sacks. So if he can give you that, you're going to have a very, 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 very strong defensive line to tend with, because you still got that bad man in the middle, Devontae Davis, that you got to keep eyes on as well. And people be sleeping on him, but please do not. So if he can, like I said, if he can give you half of what James was, you're going to be smooth sailing. But listen, I'm telling you, listen to what I'm telling you. I know a lot of you guys get enamored with speed and size. The thing what makes James Houston so great was his counter moves. He had a move for the move, and you're seeing it in the league. You're seeing him with the spin. You're seeing him with the hesitation, duck in, duck out, speed rush, bull rush. He can give it to you in multiple ways. You need Niles and Phillip to develop that for both of them, right? Because where Niles was great is bull rush and a little bit of speed rush, right? Bull rush, if he played with power, it's hard to keep Niles from getting it to crashing the pocket. And if you can get Phillip with some counter moves and with using that speed that he's shown in his high school tape, you will definitely have a problem in on that defensive line. It's because you can't double, especially with Devontae Davis in the middle. You can't double nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's literally chipping running backs and going from there. But we shall see, hopefully. And it all depends on what they decide to run, Blue. You know what I'm saying? If they do decide to run those double-A gap blitzes and man-on-mans and overloads that, that Mike Zimmer and Dennis Thurman are so known for in that scheme. Because I'll tell you this, and Blue, your offensive lineman, if you just line up for a cross and you let me see it, 9 times out of 10, unless you're special, I can block it. So unless you're special, I can block it. So, but I know you're really high on this guy, Blue, and I can't wait to see what he looks like in pass, and if he can stay healthy. That's always
the thing, man. I hate to see when injuries kind of derail a career, man, but it definitely could happen.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear, because Blue been saying this to everybody else. Hey, man, if he was as good as he said he was, he'd still be able to shoot. You know what I'm saying? That's what you said. That's what you said, Blue. You said if he was as good as he said he was, play better.
He's got to prove it on the college level. He does. It was the same thing that they had with a lot of guys who weren't. I mean, because I don't feel like you could say James Houston was unproven. I feel like he might not have been a draft pick, but like, bro, he was starting for an SEC school. But there's a lot of other transfers that some of these schools have gotten that weren't proven that turned out to be good. I think he's going to be one of those guys.
Absolutely. All right. Last but not least, going down to the D2 ranks, Eric Phoenix, starting quarterback for Benedict, is in the portal. I have his stats pulled up right here. He had 2,000 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, over 200 yards rushing as well. He was a total, looked like over the game, maybe about 63 completion percentage, threw about 6 interceptions to 15 touchdowns. So kind of more of a rushing style guy, looks like. They had a lot more running attack than throwing. But I've seen this kid in person, big, lanky, long. Okay, that no homo, just no homo, right? Pause, as they say up north. Pause. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if you could see this kid go to a Delaware State, I wouldn't be surprised if you see this kid go to a Hampton, Howard, Morgan.
That'd be scary.
That'd be nice with the running attack that they have and somebody with some experience. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely be some. If I don't think this dude fits A&M system, he's more of a runner. They're more of a quick passing game type of team. If I was Bethune, can hurt just to have somebody in the building. You know what I'm saying? Because your boy Jalen at his fifth team in his fifth year, like Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So I know you don't know much about him, Blue, but where could you see a kid 6'3", 205? Most kids that are in the HBCU system, they stay in that HBCU system. So where could you see him going?
I think, in my opinion, the two schools that should be looking the hardest is Morgan, because you're probably a quarterback away from really competing. And then the other one is South Carolina State.
Oh, good pick. Good.
You have to.
That's good, Blue. That's good.
You got to get you a quarterback. I mean, I know some people are excited about, what I forgot the freshman quarterback's name. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows it. The one that he started like one game.
I think it was Knicks.
I don't think he's the future. I think you got a guy with experience and someone who has kind of proven himself as a 2-time all-conference selection according to the graphic. I think South Carolina State Morgan would be my top 2 choices right now that should be looking really hard at Phoenix.
I mean, listen, it can't hurt to have them in the building. It can't hurt to have them in the building, okay? And no disrespect to the Celebration Bowl winner, but come on, Corey Fields, man. Come on, Corey. If you can ride with Corey, you can ride with a lot of people. All right, because they was riding with Corey like that man was the GOAT or something. I'm like, man, he's struggling. But no, I definitely think that this kid can definitely do some. I'm telling you, man, seeing that kid in person, he can sling it. He can sling it. But once again, that man was in shorts and t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? So everybody can sling it in shorts and t-shirt out there in camp. You know what I'm saying? Just letting it fly. But no, I like the Morgan. I like the 2 picks that you made, especially the Morgan State, because they're the type of team that wants ball control, play good defense, run the ball, manage the game right. You know what I'm saying? Don't do nothing crazy. And I think that's right up Eric Phoenix's alley. You know what I'm saying? Of just doing just enough for his team to not hindering his team, but just doing enough to keep his team above the fray and winning those games. All right, 518-263-8124, 518-263-8124. Call lines are open if you want to ask me, Blue, any questions on regards to what we talked about or anything you see in the HBCU space. Blue, anything in the FCS space that you want to talk about while we got the time?
I forgot one transfer. Jaden Stewart from PV, the running back, he announced his transfer to Stephen F. Austin.
Wow.
Yep. So he had I think 2,000 rushing yards, like 21 touchdowns or something for PV. Was a big part of that offense 2 years ago. Yeah, he was the guy. So he's taking his talents to Stephen F. Austin. Zaire Thornton, 6'6" wide receiver from Tennessee State, is going to UT Chattanooga. Is another one. Also, Howard offensive lineman Jack Forsyth is going to Northern Arizona with Devon Starling. A huge pickup for them was a second-team All-MEAC selection for me, at least. I thought he was a stud at offensive line. I think he was an honorable mention for the conference. And then also John Stiglmeyer, head coach for South Dakota State, announced his retirement tonight. Shocking announcement out of nowhere. So he's one of the winningest head coaches at FCS football. Goes out on top. And there was a little bit of rumors that he potentially could retire because, he's getting up there in age. He's been coaching forever, and he finally got over the hump and got that national championship for South Dakota State. They're upgrading their defensive coordinator, who's been an assistant under Stig for 10 seasons now and has led one of the top defenses in the country year in and year out. So a huge announcement for South Dakota State, but I won't be surprised if they stay on the right track, even without, Coach Stig being in the head coaching spot.
We got a guy, and I appreciate that, Blue. We got a guy in the chat asking about Zach Bro. Didn't he go to TCU? Was that the one that went?
No, that's Willis Patrick.
Willis Patrick. Okay.
So with Zach Bro, I'll be honest with you guys. I had him on the show. I talked to him. He posted kind of like a thank you, Jackson, and kind of cryptic post. Didn't really say what was happening. I reached out to him and said, hey man, are you transferring? Are you going to the draft? And he was like, I don't know yet. I think what happened is he saw the portal closing. kind of jumped in to potentially see what his options are, see what his draft stock is, and then he then worst case, he can come back to Jackson. When he was on my show, he talked about how important it was to graduate from Jackson State, which I believe he's going to do because, you know, his family graduated from Jackson. It meant a lot to him to have that degree from Jackson. He did that. I think he's just kind of seeing what his value is. He didn't want to get stuck at Jackson without testing the waters. And I think that's what's going on with Zach Bro. But he said he would let me know as soon as he made his final decision.
Okay, I love it. I absolutely love it. HBCU recruiting. I listen. I know we have that on the title, and for me, I like, maybe it's just me. I did like the plan that Alonzo Hampton had, and let me go back to this graphic. You know, at first when I first heard him say it, I was like, but then when I broke it down, I said it makes sense. His plan, if you didn't watch the conference, was he said his focus is to bring in 5 or 6 local kids that to Arkansas, of course, and then after spring ball, then hit the portal hard once he gets his coordinators in, his D coordinators in, and things like that. And then I was kind of like, that's a very short turnaround to get somebody acclimated to what you want to do, but you still have training camp and 2-a-days and all that type of stuff coming up. What does it start in July, late July, early July? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much early July. And then, you know, you have those 2-a-days before the season starts. So I'm going to say this. I kind of like the plan. I'm more on the fence about it. I think you want to bring in as much as you can and see where that goes. But I do like that he's trying to keep it local. He's trying to keep it homegrown. I haven't really seen much from Valley. I saw that they're going hard JUCO program. That, like you said, because he knows that realm. He knows that area. He's comfortable there. And listen, Bethune, y'all got to get on the board, bro. I mean, they did sign a guy from Cali Powell.
2 guys.
2 guys. Yeah. 1'6'2", big old Samoan, guy. Let me see.
The other guy was pretty proven. I put out a tweet when he committed. It was the D lineman Phoenix, I believe it's Tusa. D lineman, his senior season, 60 total tackles, 19 for loss, 10.5 sacks, and 4 pass breakups.
Oh, wow.
So he's a productive edge rusher, pretty much is what I think he's going to turn into at Bethune-Cookman.
Okay, so they got a 6'2", 220 linebacker from Long Beach Poly. His name is Ike Nacio Mikaele L.I. Yeah. Oof. He like they broke the pronunciation down for me so I can pronounce it. But big kid, the Bordeaux's father trained him down in Long Beach Poly. Cal. If you don't know, the Bordeaux is the father of the wide receiver at Grambling. He's a trainer in that area. Says the kid's a monster. Said they got an absolute dog coming down to Bethune-Cookman. He's been training them since he was a young boy. So I'm glad to see that. Who else has really been behind the 8-ball on the low end? I haven't seen much from Alabama State. I really haven't.
Yeah, they sound like a handful of guys in the early side. I think it was like 4 or 5 guys in the early signing period, and that was it.
Yeah. So haven't really seen that in anything like that. Just want to give you guys a heads up. Me and Blue will be doing a signing day show. All right, we're trying to get that structured for you guys and make sure it's right and it's put together. After signing day, we'll be bringing on a good friend of ours from Pro Football Focus and ESPN, Cam. Does the podcast, Intel podcast. He will be bringing on. What we're going to do is we're going to pick some of our favorite players that we liked in the draft, 10 of them, or not the draft, from the signing day area, from portal to signing day. And then we'll break down the top 5 guys that we like with film and kind of express how we feel about these guys going forward and what the programs are doing. So definitely be tuned into that. Make sure you got your notifications on for me and Blue so you know when that's coming. But signing day show, make sure you're here locked in. We got a full day plan for you guys. Try to have some guests on, some coaches, some players, all the most, so we can give you guys great content. Anything you guys got coming down the pipe, Blue?
Interview with new Incarnate Word head coach Clint Killo coming next week. Also got an interview with Lindsey Scott coming up. Excited for that one. Talk about his man, hit, in my opinion, the best college football season in history. I mean, it was just ignorant what he did. Also on the website, got to talk to Tyler Long, Norfolk State transfer, linebacker. He was a two-time MEAC all conference selection. He announced his transfer to Austin P. Huge loss for Norfolk State, man. He was, I think he had like 100 plus tackles this year, was a candidate for the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. And then also film breakdowns of my guy Coach Fred for the Coach's Corner. It'll be members only because of copyright, of course. You know how everyone knows how that goes. We're dropping the Celebration Bowl recap tomorrow, break down a bunch of the film from that game, kind of give you guys the inside scoop on what the teams were doing, what we saw on film. Next week will be the FCS National Championship, and then we got a bunch of regular season games we're going to break down, man. But outside of that, just keeping up with recruiting. Dropped a list of the top 30 FCS commits out of high school. I think Campbell had 6 of the top 30 high school commits. Jackson had 3, and then it was like Princeton, Harvard, and I think Cal Poly had 2.
Wow.
So ridiculous over there. But yeah, man, that's what. So I got to ask you real quick on the ranking head coaches. If you had to throw Delaware State's new head coach and Vincent Brown in there, where would they fall in the rankings?
I like that. Let's bring it back up. Vincent Brown will move to 2. And Lee Hall will probably move to about 5.
Okay.
So
Not a fan of Hall?
I'm not a fan of Delaware State. I think from what people are telling me from the MEAC, Delaware State is the valley of the MEAC. That's what. Listen, that's from MEAC people. Okay, that ain't nothing for me because I couldn't tell you the difference. MEAC people tell me that Delaware State is the valley of the MEAC, so I'm gonna just take their word for it. Lee Hall does nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't nothing about Lee Hall that I'm just like, ooh, because if we talk about play calling, it was atrocious at Valley. I mean at Howard. You didn't know what he wanted to do game in and game out. Now I don't know if that was on the head coach or if that was on Lee, but somebody got to take a look. If Byron Leftwich is getting fired for bad quarterback play, Lee got to take that. Lee got to hold all those L's because I'm like, bro, I don't know what is going on with this play calling with Lee. So I would definitely go 6 Wade, 5 Lee, 4 Hampton, 3 Ed, 2 Vincent, 1 TC.
I think you're being a little hard on him, man, because like with Hull, he does have head coaching experience in the MEAC, and he won. Like he got, if I'm not mistaken, Morgan made the FCS playoffs with him as head coach. Like that's crazy in the grand scheme of things. So I think really and truly, I'd probably have him at like 3 or 4. If I had to put him somewhere, just because he's more proven than Wade as a head coach. He's more proven than Reed. He's more proven than Hampton. Like and you can't put him over TC because of what TC's done. And also I wouldn't put him over Vincent Brown because that was the hire that A&T had to make. Yeah. I've been day one on that. That is the hire you had to make. And talking to him, I love his vision for the program. And I think that's the guy that they needed to build a CAA program because he knows the behind the scenes on how to build a CAA program. So I think I would have Brown at 2, and I really do think you would have Hall and Hampton right there fighting for 3 or 4 just because of his success as a head coach already in the MEAC.
I just listen, man. Morgan and Delaware State, like I feel as though the quality of talent in Maryland over Delaware is night and day. Right, you can literally recruit the state of Maryland and be legit, and you're about to see Damon do it. He's about to show you what the DMV is really about. Okay, I just want to let that be there. No, we out here we got quality, baby. All right, but I don't know what that is at Delaware State, and I'm like I said, I'm going by what people are telling me about Delaware State is that you're kind of walking into a Valley situation where it's like winning 5 wins is like, oh, we got a coach. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the situation, you're already behind the 8 ball, and I don't think your name does anything to get you above the 8 ball. So that's the Wades, the Lees, the Wades, and the Hamptons to me are, you got to prove it to me. Like, you got to show me you can turn a program around before just because you're a good coach, tell me you can turn a program around, because it all dictates off situation to me. Like, some people can go into the right situation and they like, the program is not bad. It just needs to be revived. Like Morgan, you know what I'm saying? You smacked, boy. Sit your ass down. I got like one area in the whole state. Shut up. You know?
I can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm not educated. I can't name a single big time recruit from Rhode Island.
and that's saying something for you.
Maybe I missed a spot. I think the reason I would give Hampton an edge over Wade, and possibly, you know, we know what Reed is with his name, but just in terms of pure recruiting prowess, at least Hampton has a lot of connections in Louisiana. And if he can start taking kids from Louisiana and bringing him with him, that would be huge for him. Because Louisiana is loaded. Let's just be, for a state that size, they're loaded with talent.
Absolutely. But once again, what name rings bells when it comes through the door? Is it Hampton or is it Ed Reed?
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Like that. Like the only reason Winston Brown is over top of him is because I felt that was it's a better fit than a lot of these other ones. It's just like you said, and you've been on that bandwagon from literally when the season was over. He was like, as soon as he got fired, Vincent Brown. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I'm putting that on my resume. The luck of that to happen was outrageous.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You've been calling it from day one, and so to me, it's just I look at he's a better fit for that program. That's why he went above Ed Reed. But once again, all these programs that these guys are going to need resources. And out of all these coaches, the only one that comes with a resource, he is a resource, is Ed.
Do you think his expectations now year one are heightened because of what happened?
I think for people that don't like Ed, they were already going to be heightened, right? So like, you got people who didn't like you got people who weren't going to like the hire that's heightened, and then what he did was also going to heighten it as well. So now you got people wishing for him to fail because of his disrespect for HBCUs, right? Or Bethune. So if Hugh Jackson can stink it up the way he did, I got to give Ed Reed. I mean, come on, like an NFL head coach who has coached in the league for more than 10 years can stink it up the way he did. Ed Reed gives the same. And if we're looking at it, Deion stunk it up his first year. All right, since we count spring seasons, remember you said UAPB, since we count spring seasons.
You got to count it.
You know what I'm saying? Deion stunk it up his spring season. That was his first year. Hugh stunk it up. Eddie George stunk it up. And Ed Reed, he probably gonna stink it up too. So it's all about how the narrative you want to flip it, right? Because everybody loved Deion, so they was like, oh, that didn't count. Like, just like I said, the spring didn't count, it didn't count. So he got that mulligan. We just call it a mulligan. It wasn't his players, right? But Damon Wilson came into a program, not his players, added a few guys, and they're damn near 2 games away from being MEAC champs. So that really shows you what coaching is really all about. And it's not to say that Lee can't do it. It's not to say that Hampton can't do it. It's not to say Wade can't do it. I just think that Damon was a better fit at Maryland because he's coming from Bowie. He knows the area. He grew up in the area. The guy he got on his staff grew up in the area. I mean, like, damn near everybody on the staff is from Maryland. So we locking it down, and now we about to show y'all what that DMV talent look like, baby. I just trying to tell y'all, man, y'all being real disrespectful. That's all I want to say. Y'all just being like, we ain't got no ballers up in Maryland. Like, y'all just being mad disrespectful. So
it'll be interesting because I think because you could say it ended on a bad note, and you could say that one backed into the SWAC championship, whatever. But the fact that Dooley stepped in, went to the SWAC championship, and the fact that Eddie Robinson Jr. stepped into Alabama State and at least competed.
Facts. That's real.
I mean, I think that also adds a little bit of pressure to Ed, is because no one had any expectations for Alabama State this year. I think they exceeded them.
I didn't even think they were gonna have a winning record. So I had to pay $100.
Like the only reason that people have a bad taste in their mouth about that season is that loss to UAPB at the end of the season. If they win that game and get to 7 wins, we're looking back and people are saying, "Oh, Alabama State's legit."
Yeah, they like my grandfather said they whistling Win Dixie. They having a good old time. You know what I'm saying? So no, absolutely. You're right, Blue. You're absolutely right. So if you're looking at it, let me ask you this: Alabama. Let's be real. Out of all the teams that were getting new coaches that year, I thought Alabama State was the most talented. Think about who.
Yeah, because I mean, like defensively, they had all the pieces necessary.
They had all the pieces, and all that we kept saying is because we thought Ryan Nettles was going to take a step forward. He didn't. He regressed because we kept saying they were a quarterback away. They had Ezra at the time, but he left. Yeah. They had Ja'Cory Merritt. They had a strong O line. They had an even stronger D line. Their whole secondary was coming back.
You had Bubba getting healthy.
They had the most talent on the staff. So you really was just like, if we can just get this thing together. My biggest knock on Eddie was that he hadn't coached before. I'm like, you had a real estate agent coming in trying to coach, but they had talent. They had talent.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, because I know Sonic Boom's in there saying they should have lost 2 more games, but man, if you're gonna play the what if game, they easily are probably like what 1 play away from beating FAM, and like a drive away from beating Jackson.
Yep.
I mean, they competed with FAM and Jackson better than a lot of teams in the SWAC would have. They competed with Jackson a lot better than Southern did.
And a fumble away from beating UAPB. You know what I'm saying? So you just keep adding wins.
So like you can't play the what if game negatively and not flip it positively because I mean, really and truly looking at that game, they easily could have beat FAMU that night. And FAMU fans would be the first one to say that was a game. So I think Eddie Robb, it'll be interesting to see what that team is this year. Because like you said, they're losing Keenan, they're losing Earshad, they're losing one of their top offensive linemen. It'll be interesting to see what that team looks like next season. And if he's bringing in because, I'm not judging him solely off early signing day because even Trey Oliver and NCCU said, we're signing 3-4 guys early signing day, and the bulk of our classes come in late. And just because Eddie Robinson Jr. didn't have an interview and said that could have been their plan the whole time. And so I'm interested to see if they load up on National Signing Day, that team could be extremely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you hit on them, I mean, for me, I think that in the quarterback situation, I probably would have went transfer portal. I want somebody proven. You know what I'm saying? And at the DB position, I mean, you got Maddox. He's going to be
so good.
Going to be a staple. You probably only got him for 1 more year, from being honest. Let's be real.
I'm surprised he didn't transfer this year.
Yeah, you only got him pretty much probably for 1 more year. And if he has the same season he has this year, he's gone. Like, let's not even play this game. Somebody's going to come get that kid. He's 6'1". I mean, he can play inside, outside. He's a freaking dog. So somebody's coming to get him. So you gotta really bring it all together next year, or you're going to be back rebuilding, because that's what the portal is. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to be back rebuilding again. But I think if you solidify this, you need another safety, you need a corner, you need a solid quarterback that you can pin on.
You got to replace edge. They lost because with Nelson on the way out, if I'm not mistaken, did Gaddy leave? I think Gaddy left too, a D tackle.
I think so. So
you got some guys on the D line you got to replace too.
So, I mean, I don't think you want to hit that I don't think you want to do that in the signing day. I don't know how many freshmen are going to come in and be that impactful on the D line. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go get you some guys in the transfer portal for that. So I'm curious to see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Or what that's going to be. Listen, bro, I'm curious just to see what Ed Reed's staff going to look like. Like, what is that even going? Because it can get really stupid, or it can be real conservative like Dion. You know what I'm saying? Whereas there's a whole bunch of my homeboys that I used to coach with. They know me. I know them. And, hey, let's do it. They were in the NFL, blah, blah, Dennis Thurman. You know, you have a highlight guy like Dennis Thurman, like, oh, okay. And then everybody else is just like a bunch of guys. Because he could go get Ray and then get a bunch of guys, and you'd be like, damn.
it's about to get ugly real quick. You know what I'm saying? So Tom Brady as the OC.
Byron Leftwich.
You know what I'm saying?
So for me, okay, so I'll be honest. I do have concern about Bethune-Cookman for a big reason I don't think a lot of people are talking about. This contract is supposedly not finalized.
It's not.
Is what everyone's saying. So we're talking tonight on January 19th. National Signing Day is coming very, very fast.
Yeah.
If you don't have that contract signed and that staff's not put together, what are we looking at in terms of roster next year?
I think you're going to see a lot of transfers. It's going to be full of JUCOs and transfers. That's because that's the only way you can truly build if you're not going to really hit. But think about it like this. Blue. There's still going to be some freshmen that don't get offers. Because of the way the transfer portal and the JUCO war, that the high school kids are getting left behind. If you're not the top of the top, the cream of the crop, you're going to get left behind. So he's still going to be able to pull some freshmen. And listen, you can pick up a pebble, spin around 3 times, throw it over your left shoulder, and hit a kid in Florida who's 6'1" with dreads and runs a 4.3. Okay, so it's really not going to be that big of an issue. Unless you're talking about O-linemen.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, they got their front 7 was atrocious last year.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
they did land the kids from Cal Poly. I got that. But man, you don't find a lot of freshmen going FCS that are ready to start immediately and compete. They can start immediately, and it's some growing pains, and you're going to get beat to death week in and week out. But I don't think that's what Ed wants to do. Like, I don't right now. I feel like the vision's a bit fuzzy with all the extracurricular things going around in the program.
We'll see. We'll take this one call and then we'll get up out of here, Blue. 7120.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man? You live.
I was just thinking about the Bethune-Cookman situation. And I was just saying, if I was Ed Reed, I would probably bring Albert White on my staff as an advisor. Because when he was a head coach at Bethune-Cookman, they were rolling. They had that version of the wishbone called the wide bone, had all that speed in the backfield, wide receiver. And their offense philosophy was, if the defense pauses, you toast. And whenever they grabbed that bone and that defense paused, hey, that back was gone. So, I mean, someone like that knows the culture at Bethune, knew how to succeed at Bethune. And, I mean, that's somebody I bring on my staff at this point, at least.
Sir, you said the wide bone?
Alvin White. Yeah, he named their version of the wishbone. He named it after himself, the Wyatt bone.
Bro, Bethune starts next season running the wishbone.
I'm done. I swear to God, I'm done. I ain't watching another game. I swear to God, I'm not watching.
Bro, I mean, could you imagine? He slapped the hornet's nest of social media, and then he's going to come out and run the wishbone. Bro, they are going to fire him on the field.
Hey, y'all got to go check out clips of that white ball. That was back when the MEAC football was at its best, when they were getting 2 teams to the FCS playoffs, and that third place team going to the Heritage Bowl.
All right,
I mean, they had a decent passing attack out of that wide ball too.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to go find that just to see if I can get some clips of it. But thanks for the call. That was different. That was different. Let me see the wide.
Could you imagine?
I would die. I would die. I'm not even gonna hold you. If somebody can send us a link of that, I would love to see that. But no, it ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ooh, Terrell Suggs is a linebacker coach.
So how do you feel about this?
The conference has been locked.
I got an honest question with purpose. Would Ray play other than recruiting? Because how would he know how to put it different? I got an honest question. What purpose would Ray play other than recruiting? Because how would he know how to put it different? What?
So it was just like, okay, he has no experience as like a true defensive coordinator. So like other than him being just a recruiter, like what like would you trust him to really run your defense?
Hell yeah! Listen, man, listen, football is not that hard. Okay, like don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he needs to be D'Amico Ryans or Rex Ryan, but listen, when you're playing a Rex Ryan style defense and you're the linebacker communicating those calls, I would assume you know how to put the what? Huh?
So let me ask you this, and like I'll rephrase it in like a different way because this is what someone reached out to me and we had a conversation about Ray Lewis. Is the rumor is he's been interviewing for all these jobs, right?
Yeah.
Would he be okay working under Ed Reed for a job he supposedly interviewed for? What would the power dynamic really be? Like, would he be okay with that?
I think he would, one, because that's your man's, right? So you're not coming in there. I'm not like you're the associate head coach. You're associate head coach. You know what I'm saying? So it's like me and you doing this together. You my boy. You know what I'm saying? So if I win, you win because you're trying to get a head coaching job. You know what I'm saying? So man, listen, man. I think I honestly feel that when you're friends and the way that they've gone to battle together, I can't speak on their relationship, but this is me assuming. I don't know them personally, but when you go into battle with somebody, you've won championships with that person. And then I believe that they're coming from the same tree defensively, passionately about how they feel about defense. I think that's a great marriage because they can have the same idea and the same vision of what they see. Now, can it go awry? It can go awry with anything. Any relationship can go awry. That's just life. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be really close and then friction happens and, he maybe calls the wrong play or you don't agree with what he calls with. And that's life. You know what I'm saying? So there could be friction. But I just think as them being boys and them winning together, I think Ed Reed will want Ray Lewis in his foxhole because he's like, I might not be able to trust everybody else, but I can at least trust my boy Ray that we gonna battle this out together. And I think that'd be a good look. I really do.
That's fair. I mean, because the worry that they had is like Ray is such a bigger personality than Ed
that he could take over the team.
Yeah, that like it would because that's the same reason that the same person said that he can't see Warren Sapp being on the staff either. Like, could you imagine Ray and Warren on that staff? Like, but Ed does. I don't think Ed has like, not that he isn't like big enough, but I think those two egos and personalities would overshadow what Ed was doing as a head coach.
That's a great. When you put it like that, I understand it because then you will see like who's really the leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like who's really the leader of this thing. And maybe like if you have the like okay, good example, right? I tell you. When I first got into coaching, I was actually supposed to be the assistant coach. My homeboy was like, man, help me with this basketball team, I end up becoming the head coach and he ended up becoming the assistant coach because of just my personality compared to his personality. He was more of, he would sit with the kids and talk to them one-on-one if they were, and me, I'm just yelling at you, telling you, get your ass out. You know what I'm saying? Like you messing up. Hey, sit down. So I think with Ed and Ray, it could be a situation to where it's like, Ray being the face of the program, but Ed Reed being the facility, he's the orchestrator, you know what I'm saying? But that has to be like an unspoken, I'm cool with that, right? Like Dwayne Wade when LeBron came. He took the back seat for LeBron because he knew LeBron was that guy, even though it was his team, you know what I'm saying? So it's checking somebody's ego because we both want to win. I would literally tell, if I was talking with Ray Lewis, I'm like, listen, man, you can come here and do what you do, but we just got to win. That's all we got to do. If we win, we both good. You know what I'm saying? So I
think it would work if they were winning. Like it's easy to make stuff work when it's winning, but like if they go 2-9, and in the media, like I mean, if losing is where the problems like go awry, and I don't think Bethune-Cookman is a win now situation.
I think I'm sorry, and I know this is going to be, they at least got to go 6-5. At least
there's no way they go 6-5 next year.
At least. Got to.
I mean, unless they come out and land, something I don't see happening. But man, there's no way you look at that schedule with Memphis and Miami on it.
Okay, that's 2 losses.
And then you got Jackson. Ed and Jackson.
That's
That's
probably
a loss.
probably. Go ahead.
You're losing. I think they lose to FAM next year.
Yeah, that is a tough schedule. Now that you
That's
put it-
4. Do you trust them to go beat Alabama State? I think they play at Alabama State next year too.
That's a lot. That's a
So
lot.
that's 5 right there.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
we don't even know who they draw from the other division. I don't know. I don't off the top of my. But let's say they draw like PV and Alcorn.
I
That'd
think
be brutal.
I think you could beat PV. I think Alcorn's a tough one.
If it's in Lorman, that's probably an L.
Yeah, that's probably L. It's probably L.
And then also you got to find a quarterback. Like until they find a quarterback, man, I cannot give them over 4 wins next year.
Because
Because
I think the toughest thing about it is the difference between Ed and Dion is Dion used social media to like he brought people in droves to him. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the thing with Dion. Like, yeah, we all know he's charismatic, but the way he used social media to recruit, unreal. Absolutely unreal. And I feel as though if Ed Reed and Ray Lewis can use social media to recruit, it's going to be a problem. I don't give a damn what TC Taylor has. You're not Ed Reed and you're not Ray Lewis. And you're not in Daytona Beach. Now, Bethune's facilities and all that, I get it. I got it. Good. But if they can do it, if Ed can get out of his own way and Ray can step, and we talking about Ray like he's on the staff, but Ray can step in there and really use social media to gravitate towards people, I think you can see a really big turnaround. And I think 6-5 is a great turnaround for Bethune-Cookman. Absolutely huge. So we'll see.
I'll say this. If he gets to that many wins, that's an A+ year.
Oh, absolutely.
Bethune-Cookman. Especially with the fact that they might have, if let's say the contract gets finalized next week, you get a week and a half to recruit.
No, you got all summer.
I mean, I'm talking about before National Signing Day, and like you get whoever potentially enters the portal or whatever after spring practice, but to not have let's say it gets finalized next week. How many players on the fall roster were there for spring practice? Like what percentage of the roster? Because if you're saying that he's not going to get hired till a week before signing day or so, let's say that, there's no way more than like 40% of those kids were on the roster for spring practice.
If he does, because what I know what he's going to do, just a little bit. He's going to reach out to Uncle Luke down in Miami, and he's going to say, "Hey, I know you got some kids that haven't been recruited. Hook me up. I know you know some coaches that got."
That's fair. I can see that.
Yeah, I know you got some kids down in Miami that haven't been recruited. You know some other coaches. Hook me up. I know IMG got some guys that probably bounce back. Hook me up. So that St. Thomas Aquinas, hey, hook me up. So he's going to hit that area. And then everything else is going to be JUCO and transfer. There's too many kids in the portal. It's just too many. But you're the only thing, Blue, you're absolutely right, is O-line and D-line. Those guys go at a premium because they know I got to build up front. So yes, that would be the worst. That is the worst thing about having this thing signed so late is that you're going to have the slim pickings of O-linemen and D-linemen. That's just, and we don't know if your development game is that, so you can't bring a tight end to be an O-lineman. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that because we don't know what your development game looking like. So,
and they're not going to be ready year one regardless. So that's like a 3-year plan. Like, and you don't have, and also, like you said, it depends on the staff too. Because if they bring in like a A+ staff, then we could change the conversation and say, okay, like they can get this under control. But if they bring in a bunch of former NFL guys who have never coached before, let's say, or a little bit unproven, then it could be. It's going to be really, really interesting what happens in Bethune this year. I mean, that's going to be probably the biggest storyline going into SWAC Media Day this summer.
Easily. But it all, to me, is going to come down to the staff. Like, what does that staff look like? It really is. And if I'm being honest, I think that year one to me could look like Damon Wilson, right?
Okay.
That it's like you see it, you're like, oh, if he gets his guys in, it's going to be a problem. And I think that is what is going to look like. I believe that's what it's going to look like for Bethune, is that it could be a little bit of Morgan State to where you're like, man, they got something here. If they can just get the right pieces in place, they got something here. Because the one thing that we've seen in the SWAC is that if you make quarterbacks make throws, and that's the game plan. Can you make throws? So for me, if I'm Ed Reed and I've talked to Deion, what Deion gonna tell me? Hey man, we play man, and we gonna tell them to make throws.
Yeah.
Go find you some man corners and blitz. Because it doesn't matter. Blue, be real with me. I can have two undersized O-line. I can have four undersized O-linemen, right? You're probably going to run the ball on me if you know that would be the game plan if I have undersized O-linemen. But anytime you get in a passing situation and I got more numbers than you can block, that's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You see, it is? It's a numbers game. So then it becomes on your quarterback and your offensive coordinator and see if they can come up with something that works. But if what we've learned over the past 2 years watching Deion, what he's done at the defensive side, man to man, make the quarterback make throws, make the OC come up with some stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, in the East, at least last year, the West was a little bit iffy because all those teams, like the top 4 teams at the top, were separated by like a hair. But if you go to the East and rank the teams in the standings, it pretty much correlated with like quarterback rankings. Is you had FAMU and Jackson at the top. Those are the 2 most consistent quarterbacks. D. Davis, inconsistent, hurt, but at least you had a good backup with Miles Crawley that helped. And then the bottom 3 were just pure chaos. And it doesn't really matter at that point. And then it came down to who had the better roster. But in the West, I think Southern had such a good defense at times last year that it was able to bail out their bad quarterback play. And their run game was so strong, too, with their offensive line that, like, it kind of propped them up a bit. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the bottom of the division, you could tell Grambling and UAPB had 0 quarterback play. They wound up at the bottom of the division. So, like, if you've ranked all the SWAC teams last year from top to bottom in terms of record, it correlates pretty well with who had the best quarterback play. And even Prom said it in that interview with Shannon Sharp. He was like, man, it's all about quarterback play. The top 2 teams in the SWAC had the 2 best quarterbacks. And at the end of the day, that's what happened.
So, and Mr. Campbell has told me this. He said, listen, that's the tale as old as time when the SWAC. You got a good quarterback, you're going to win. You got a bad quarterback, you ain't going to do so well. He said, that's just what the SWAC is. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see where it goes. Last call, and then we're going to get up out of here. 7022 coming to you.
Offscript.
What's up?
Man, I love your show, man. I'm from North Carolina. I've been listening to your show, you and Blue. Keep doing what y'all doing, man. I just want to say that.
Oh, man, we appreciate that, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah.
He says he playing Madden. Oh, my God. All right, let me shut these call lines down, man. We appreciate y'all for kicking it with us, man. Listen, we all going to be on Bethune staff watch. Bethune staff watch and Bethune contract watch. We all going to be on that. All right, listen, guys, we appreciate y'all time. Blue got some interviews coming. Make sure you log in, you stay linked in, subscribe to the channel, become a member as well. Once again, you got your boy Scotty over here, got a Discord, got some consultation. If anybody wants to try to go to their podcast platform, anything like that, that's what I'm in the business of doing, helping be able to grow. All right. So listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holla. God bless.